I'm Sophia A Jackson, editor and founder of Afridiziak Theatre News, and today I'm joined by
David Albury, playing Bob Marley in Get Up, Stand Up, London's West End.
And thank
Doesn't
you.
even feel real to say it still, to be fair.
Oh, so you're currently playing alternate Bob. How are you feeling about fully encompassing the role?
It's something I'm really, really looking forward to. Probably the hardest task of being alternate is the Bob Marley track. That role is such a beast that to do it twice a week, effectively on a Tuesday evening, and then have a break until a Sunday evening, and then have a day off and then go back into it again. It's very difficult to kind of build up, the natural rhythm to kind of sit in the show. There's so much you have to think about, so many moving parts, so many cues, that really one of the most exciting things about taking over the role is the prospect of seeing how far you can push yourself. I mean, you can continue to do researching and you can always delve deeper into a character and characterization. Yeah. But there gets a point where on stage you need to feel comfortable as you can, and that can only happen when you do consistent runs week in, week out. So I'm looking forward to that.
So you're taking over from Michael Duke, and then previously it was Arinze Kene. So have they both given you tips?
Well, I mean, I had the privilege of watching them both. So and Declan Spain as well, who was also a first cover as part of the company before. And standing on the shoulders of greatness has never applied more than in this scenario. I mean, I had the privilege of watching all three of them, and they are just all of them so individual in their approaches, but they all encapsulate the essence of Bob, which is credit to a testament to the creative team that we have. But yeah, I've learned a lot from just watching them. It inspired me to do the show. I joined in February, so I wasn't quite sure whether or not it was a role I wanted to do for a lot of different reasons. But seeing how powerful it was and the performance that they conveyed, both Arinze and Michael, it tells you, it speaks to your soul, and you realize that if you have the opportunity, this is absolutely a role you have to do.
Yeah. And so what originally attracted you to being part of this production in the first place?
It would be the message. Bob Marley's message is so synonymous with him. It's so complete. He's so unwavering in his commitment to his belief system. And that belief system, to me, felt completely logical and completely right, completely natural, authentic, and human. And, it's in a time where, there's so much human upheaval, either people, leaving their countries to escape persecution, or wars being raged and almost accepted to some degree. Bob Marley's music and his message has never felt more pertinent or important. And so to be tasked and to set yourself the challenge of conveying that and delivering that message is, it's an honor and an opportunity that can't be passed up if you have that commitment and that desire.
And you said the word challenge, which leads me on to my next question. So Bob Marley is loved by millions of fans around the world. So how do you manage the pressure of honouring a global icon and staying true to his legacy at the same time?
It's a huge task, but the best way, I believe, especially in that kind of setting, in a theatrical setting, is people want truth. A lot of the message is steeped in cultural conflict or historical conflict. And if you're not, and that means a very personal message to a lot of people, obviously, the Afro-Caribbean community, the struggles that people are facing at the moment. Yeah. We want truth. That, we're in this era of post-truth, it almost seems sometimes, that people are crying out for truth. So the best way to honor an icon that has a personal, with whom so many people have a personal individual relationship, is to just approach it from a perspective of truth and authenticity. I had to find what his message meant to me, and how to live his story authentically as myself, as closely as possible.
And what are some of your own personal early memories of Bob Marley, and what kind of influences he had on your life?
So I come from a very musically eclectic household. You know, my dad was a gospel DJ.
Okay.
My mum was a huge fan of music that ranges from, you know, Irish folk to you know reggae, and you know Roots FM was always playing in the house, in my brother's house as well. So, you know, it's always been around. Although my mum's from Ghanaian descent, I'm from Ghanaian descent, an African descent. The relationship with the music was always, the music was frequently played, but at the same time, you know, as I was growing up, I found Bob Marley in a lot of the contemporary artists that I was listening to, you know, Lauryn Hill, the Bone Thugs and Harmony. You know, I remember I heard Rebel Music as a Bone Thugs and Harmony sound, you know, sample before I heard it as a song. And when you hear something so powerful, you're thinking, where does this come from? Who is this artist featuring on this? And it's, you know, I obviously knew about Bob Marley by that point, but just to see him filtering into so many different politically motivated cultural icons who I was, you know, studying as a sort of young artist, you know, you were just blown away by the power of this person's message. Although I have to say, you know, I like to say this thing that, in all honesty, like I used to hear Bob Marley music, but doing this show really encouraged me to listen to Bob Marley music, understand it on a deeper level. So the privilege that has been studying his music and studying his story and his journey has meant that his music has a far more powerful effect on me now, and the relationship with it is totally different. You know, I can't hear it the same way, which is a wonderful thing.
And you've got a very strong musical theatre background. What do you love so much about that genre?
I mean, I'll be honest, the CV might say that I've got a strong musical theatre background, but you know, I came to this quite late. You know, I did a philosophy BA, and then I did 9 months of a music theatre masters before I was, you know, first audition off into the West End, well, not West End, but the touring production of Lion King. So, but I think it would be fair to say that I do have, you know, a strong relationship with it and an appreciation for the art form. I think a lot of times people think that musical theatre, because of the different styles of musical theatre, you can have quite naturalistic play style musicals, plays with music, or you can have your kind of big budget razzle dazzle musicals, or you can have something that's kind of in between. You know, I think the nuance afforded by encouraging or incorporating dance and song into a theatrical setting, it allows for what some people would call, you know, unrealistic expressions of emotion. You know, the moment where you break into song or you break into dance. A lot of people say that musical theatre kind of loses its naturalism and its kind of realism in those moments or at that point, which I think is unfair, because I think in everyday life we break into song, we break into dance. You know, so I love the art form for that, and I think it also lends itself perfectly to this show because culturally, you know, it's such an expressive culture. Reggae music, you know, Afro-Caribbean culture is so expressive. Dance and music is so synonymous and dates right back to our origins. You know, that, you know, it feels almost incredibly suited to this particular type of story and subject matter.
Yeah, I've seen it twice, and what I always appreciate is just how diverse the audience is, all different ages, cultures, backgrounds. It's just really beautiful to see. But unfortunately, it's closing in January 2023. What would you say to anyone who hasn't seen it yet?
Oh, first and foremost, get into the building. You've got 5 or 6 months to see it. You have to see it. It's one of those pieces that if you miss it, I mean, it will come round again. I know they're planning UK tour and international tours.
Okay, yeah.
And I cannot think that a musical, you know, we're going through a hard time economically in this country. People don't have the same money. You know, the cost of living is a lot higher. You know, it was so pertinent, you know, talking about this stuff right now. And I'm sure this musical will come back because, like you say, the diverse audience is there because Bob Marley spoke to everyone. You know,
Yeah.
people love the music, people love the message. There's something intrinsically part of it that draws people in and makes them feel comfortable and at peace. And it's you know, or confrontational. It's not aggressive. You know, it's confrontational, and it might have an anger, an underlying energy to it, but it's not a destructive philosophy. It's not a destructive heart. It doesn't have a destructive heart, this particular type of music and this story. So I think the story will 100% come back, but don't rest on your laurels. You have to come and see it, and you've got 4 months. So and the houses are getting packed, so you know, people are going to be coming in.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. All right, well, I will hopefully get to see you in action as well. So I will. And thank you very much for your time.
No, and big up to you for creating a wonderful platform to, you know, discuss the shows that, you know, we'll be seeing with more, you know, increasing frequency in this country. So thank you for being the port of call for all of that. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care. Bye.